Call of Cthulhu, Session 17, Crimson Letters. It is, the night of Wednesday, October 4th, 1925? 22? I don't even remember now. One of those, early 20s. I've got a short little recap of Session 14 through 16 quickly to give us a little idea of where we're at. Laura Baker Thomas Watts went to Cecil Hunter's apartment, spotted bloody footprints, found a metal mirror that manifested a writhing mass of red glowing worms within it. They used this on a couple thugs who appeared at the door to accost them. Mr. Wright, Mr. Brady, and Miss Galloway went to the library. The latter two spoke with Amelia Clark. She was evasive. They stole a folio from her that contained a list of items and some other mysterious diagrams and symbols. Wright caught Flinders to tail Amelia when she left and then report back. Wright, Brady, and Baker went off to Hibbs Roadhouse. Lucy was there. She was beat up by thugs. Baker confirmed with a connection to the underworld there that the thugs were trying to get information about Leader, who had gambling debts that he owed in what's the name of the city?
Atlantic City.
Atlanta? No, Atlantic City. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Atlantic City. Wright met with a man named Jenkins, who was interested in the papers for the buyers that he represents. The buyers do not speak English. He was very hesitant to provide any real information about where to find him if we should be interested in selling the papers. Brady managed to snatch a notebook from the man. It was written in Arabic, however, so you do not get noticed in that notebook. As you went back to meet at the Galloway's house in the evening, you saw strange lights on the river on the way back as they were crossing the river. Watts and Galloway went back to the university, sent a telegram to Wick to let him know about the body, and also sent a telegram to Watts' connection, Professor McDonald, asking really generically about some of the occult connections and the sort of background of the Salem witch trials. Is that right, if I recall? So basically, you're waiting. It may take a couple days to hear back from him because he's an elderly retired professor. Otherwise,
sorry, I was trying to match the occult with anything to do with Riley as well.
Right.
Fully aware of any of that kind of connection.
Emily is to go get her page. Then besides that, after speaking with Dean Fallon, you got Amelia's address. That was actually a retcon thing that you missed out on, James, that they popped back to do that. Then Monster appeared outside on the grounds. Watson Galloway saw this writhing, glowing red and black worms covering this beast that was 6 coal black eyes. It charged towards them, but they decided to retreat into the building, and it slipped from existence moments before it was able to attack them head on. They discovered dead grass where the monster had passed, and that it had affected the actual physical ground where it appeared, where it had knocked paving stones and sawed aside. They went to check the library. Amelia was gone. The investigators regrouped at Galloway's. They discussed what happened. Rain continued to come down, and a drenched Flinders appeared at the door. He informed the investigators that he had tailed Amelia to Arkham Cemetery, but had lost sight of her somewhere inside. Everybody rushed off to Arkham Cemetery to look into this with Flinders in tow. Upon entering the cemetery, Flinders showed you to where he had lost Clark, and the group did some checks and managed to spot the tracks in the mud and followed it to 3 mausoleums of well-established families from New England, with roots going back to the early days in the area. For this, you found one mausoleum for the Masons, which drew a connection to Keziah Mason, a note in particular documents that you had stolen from Amelia Court. Keziah Mason being connected to some witchcraft and other goings on in terms of the Salem witch trials back during the 1800s. And then the Marshes, who you were not sure any connection to, and finally the Kerwins. The Kerwins, Brady, through his knowledge of history, was able to put together that this was a famous family from the area, but that their surname had since changed due to the female side of the line taking over and then subsequently getting married, and so that it was now their former name, but historically was not sure because this was more recent. However, Baker, whose family has some connections to high society to some extent, had a lucky ability to put together some recent memories, and noted that this line of Kerwins were now called the Courts, as in immediate court. Surprise, surprise. So you had been standing outside of these mausoleums, and you had been trying to decide how you were going to go about either getting inside if you so chose, or potentially staking the area out. There was basically, are you going to break into the Kerwin one that is associated with courts? I would note that Brady also saw some signs of water just into the through the bars, so it looked like there may have been somebody who was wet who had passed into that recently. The masons you could not see inside effectively because of the style of door. Then, in terms of ideas as to how to try and tackle this, you had discussed whether maybe the gravekeeper's hut would have actual keys to all these buildings, or Emily, in between times, came up with the potential idea of going back to the cars and getting the ratchet thing for starting the car out, and using that as like a tool to actually just break the door open, among potential other ideas. And then you have otherwise coming up tomorrow, doing the body in the morning, as well as some other general follow-ups. Anything you guys want to add to that recap?
And there was the link. Sorry, with the mausoleum or wherever we're at there, James. There is the link between Masons. Who was Mason the Fool? Was it?
Yes, Keziah Mason. That's what I was saying. So Keziah Mason is a fool. And Keziah Mason, that you had some historical knowledge, obviously, is that this was somebody involved in the Salem witch trials. That you didn't really have a chance to particularly dig too deeply into this, but that there is a fairly specific connection between Keziah Mason, that period of time, and eventually the papers.
And I believe I did do a check for if there's any symbols of like a flute, rabbit, mirror lead on the stone work, and there was nothing.
Yes, so you had that list of items that was listed on the papers. In this area in particular, no, you haven't particularly made.
I guess I would suggest that our two ideas basically lead us back to the entrance. So maybe we see if we can get into the gravekeeper's home, hut, whatever. And then if that doesn't work, then we try the crowbar.
You had also discussed whether you could just stake it out and see if anybody appears as another option.
I think Luis is more on the side of stopping whatever is happening.
Now you physically witnessed it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's only one option. We must split the party.
William Wright did also agree to give me all of his money and possessions as well.
No.
So while you're discussing potential ways to get to deal with this, Flinders pipes up. He says, "I have an idea. I've been reading about how to use an empowered signal of entrance. I can paint a signal on the lock and speak the incantation, and I should be able to cause the lock to magically roll back and grant us entrance."
Oh, how interesting! What? Please give it a try.
Nora just gives you such an evil eye that takes like 5 steps backwards.
So Flinders pulls a small notebook, an inkwell, and that's plugged up, and a brush from his satchel. He flips through it, clearly having great difficulty seeing in the poor conditions. He nods to himself, and he walks forward up to the lock. He pulls the... Sorry?
I'm going to come with him and I'm going to watch exactly, and I'm going to write down exactly what he does.
All right.
It's raining, right?
It is raining, yes. So he has to get up underneath the overhang of mausoleum to be able to like not get his book all wet and stuff. It's definitely hard to see.
I was gonna say I'd hold an umbrella if needed.
Okay, no, there's a bit of an overhang that would give him some coverage. So he nods himself, and then he, after dipping his quill into the ink, or his brush into the ink, pulls it out. He makes several curving strokes around the lock that intertwine, and then he steps back. After putting away the various items into his bag once more, takes a deep breath, and he grabs onto the bars with both hands. He suddenly throws his head back and he starts screeching as loud as possible while violently shaking the gate. Ah! And he does so for several moments. The gate does not budge, and he continues to violently shake it and screech.
As soon as he's starting to scream, I'll be like,
hand over. I would have put my hand over his mouth as soon as he started and dragged him away, like immediately, because I was right next to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're doing so, he starts screeching. You grab him. He for initially tries to resist and holds on to the bars. Give me a contested strength.
Oh no, I'm weak as shit. Minus contested strength.
Could I like help?
Sure. You guys can both give me contested strength rolls.
Okay.
We'll use the better.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna hit me.
Oh yeah, mine strength's real bad.
I snapped his neck apparently.
So Louise loses her grip, but Thomas Watts, in one great heave, pulls him off and throws him to the ground. Fortunately, just in time, as giant bats fly out, having been disturbed by his screaming, issuing out from between the bars and up into the night.
Giant bats, you say? Or
Yes,
like
not
size
giant
which
bats
actually
like
large?
naturally giant bats, like unusually large bats.
Oh, unusually large. Okay.
Trying
those
to
are
decide if
unusually
Nora would
large.
shoot at it.
Flinders is like, "Why did you stop me? I would have had it at any moment."
We are
Flinders.
trying. Go ahead, Jim.
Flinders, we're stalking a witch. Do you really think it'd be wise to be so loud?
I
We're trying to.
honestly hadn't thought that far. I was so excited to try the spell.
You know what?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go. Maybe it's best if you wait in the car.
He's not waiting in my car.
I think under the circumstances, we should all stick together. But yes, we were looking for a more subtle way in, Flinders.
That said, he did make a lot of noise. Perhaps it is less important to be quiet this far in.
That is true. If a gun would be a bit louder than the screams, but I can't imagine if they didn't hear the screams that they.
All right, let's go back to the car. We'll get the crank. Try that. If that doesn't work, I'm shooting the lock.
Flinders, what other kind of spells do you have? Do you mind if I take a look?
Watts, for God's sake, now is not the time to indulge this fool.
Flinders looks mildly upset, but he's also suitably chastised from his screaming episode. He's a bit embarrassed at being pointed out that he did not want to make a commotion. We were telling you that what he was going to do was going to create a commotion.
Hey guys, I've been doing a little bit of thinking, and after our encounter with that strangely beast, do you think perhaps we could use that mirror against something else that we might come across? Perhaps we should use it more as a shield rather than a potential window.
Have it ready, I suppose. It's probably not the worst idea, but maybe we don't want to uncover it whenever we feel like it. We're
Right,
still
do we
not
do-
sure those things can't get through.
No, of course. It's just more so like a witch is of our world, and if we come across a witch, then maybe something of the other world would be in our favor, if you know what I mean. Did we leave it at the other house, or did we bring it with us? I can't remember if we put it in the car.
I don't think if you specifically said, I will give it to you if you think that you would have.
I thought we had hidden it in the car at one
Yeah.
point because we didn't want to leave it somewhere, but I don't remember at what point that was.
As we left, I think. Because we said we wanted to keep it somewhere safe, so I think that's what we said.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Get back to the car, it's stolen. No, that's not. I'm not going to do that to you. All right, so are you guys heading back to the car? All of you, some of you?
I'll stay at the mausoleum.
I'll keep watch.
Flinders is eager to stay and keep watch.
I guess I
think you know the way. Yeah, Flinders, you know the way better than anybody. Would you be able to direct them?
Like, I suppose so. I do know this cemetery very well. Follow me.
Just in case, I'm going to try and track our footprints back, as opposed to paying too much attention to whatever the hell Flinders is doing.
All right, give me a track roll.
I'll stay.
That says exit. So we're just sending Nora and Benjamin back.
And
Flinders.
yeah. 3 and 3.
Yeah. All right. So you guys, he is successful at taking you back. He does know the cemetery reasonably well. I just missed that whisper. There is not. Right. For the whisper. There's no reaction. Yeah. So Flinders is able to take you back to the car. Those of you that are watching the mausoleum, give me spot hidden rolls while they're away.
Right. Nothing's minimized. Spot hidden.
Would it be possible to listen at the base of the cave instead, seeing if I hear anything coming from inside, like inside the mausoleum?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get up there and do a listen instead, by all means.
And
Soon after the screams and all that.
not feeling confident to our future encounter. I've now just had 2 extreme successes back to back, which means my failures are on their way.
I will say so. With the spot hidden from standing outside, you do not see anything particularly move. You notice another bat that a little belatedly flies on out. But just before the bat flies on out, right with your listen roll, you hear faintly, very faintly, the sound of what sounds like stones moving and grinding.
That can't be anything good.
Occultist roll for what I think, because I know that obviously stones can emanate a strong signal. They can help boost signals when it comes to rituals. That's me as a human being. I assume Thomas would know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, assuming that Wright is relaying to you that you heard sounds of stones.
I see.
You can make a roll.
Oh, yeah.
I would say, let's say no. Like, you don't need to make a roll. Like, yes, you can draw that inference, I suppose, in your own mind as to whether there's enough information to particularly draw any specific inference is a little far out.
If
I literally could. Go ahead.
I was just say, if he mentioned like noise coming from there, I would like duck around the corner to try to not be seen.
Yeah,
Sure.
also, I'm hearing some stones, I think, scraping together. I'm not... There's something going on inside.
Interesting.
If you're able to hear things, maybe we should not be in the open in case they're coming out.
I mean, if stones moving could signal a few different things. I know that stones in a ring can help boost signals, like help boost the magic from an enchantment, a ritual, sorry, and or it just might be the lid of a stone coffin that they're opening.
Either way, it can't hurt to get out of sight.
Yeah.
I'll shuffle to the side and bring. Wait, Flinders left. Okay.
Yeah.
Do
So,
we have a crowbar with us? Or
That is a good point to cut back over because you do not, unless any of you actually do, and it's in your list and you didn't mention it before. Because right
Not in
now,
mine.
what's going back is that Brady and Baker are going with Flinders back to the car to get the crankshaft from the car to use as a crowbar.
Do you want us to roll stealth?
If you are trying to be stealthy, by all means.
You never got around to slapping items in the possessions for starting or whatever.
Yeah, that's not you, Nora. Unless you are stealthing as well, I suppose, but you're just going back to the car.
Not really.
Okay, so you guys make it back to the car, no problems. And what are you doing?
I am making sure that my pockets are full of ammo and tobacco, and grabbing the crank to try and smash the lock open.
All right, Brady, do you have any other things you want to add to that list?
Oh, and I suppose we were grabbing the mirror too, weren't we?
pull the cloth off, look at it. Yep, this is the mirror.
Well, if it was my car, I could probably do some other things, but it is not my car. But I will check to make sure my pistol is loaded, and that's it for me.
All right, Zav, your pistol is in fine working form as far as you can tell, and it's fully loaded. All right.
Do you also have the 45 automatic?
I do.
I believe I do too. I
Okay.
bought it whenever in our first scenario.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
assuming you have the same gun, I would probably load you up with ammo as well, considering at least a few people in the group have it.
All right, you making your way back with Flinders in tow or without Flinders in tow?
I think I'd probably tell him to stay with the car and come let us know quietly if anybody approaches or gets past us and leaves.
All right. Give me a persuasion check. This is Flinders. Flinders do what he wants.
I feel like I have potentially.
If you are trying to do it by being charming or something, like if there's something that you have in terms of your skill set,
Can I use psychology to feed into his particular obsessions to try and come up with something?
No, I feel like you could, out of your list of things, you could try and fast talk him. You could try and just straight up confuse him to be like, I have a really serious mission for you. Flinders, we need you to watch this car. It is so important that you watch this car.
There we go. I knew I had something of that kind of nature, but
that's your social skills. Fast talk. I will give it to you that you could try and fast talk him into not coming out. Okay. So I'll say then that you feel like you did a pretty good job of trying to convince him not to come after you. Okay, so you're heading back in, and unless there's anything you specifically want to do, you will have no problem finding your way back to the mausoleum. Excuse me, jeez, hiccups. The mausoleum, where you come in and you find that you do not see, or sorry, I suppose you do see Wright kind of poking his head around the side, but that Galloway and is that right? And Watts are both hidden from view.
I guess at around this point, seeing it's been a while, do I still hear anything, or is it kind of?
No, you don't hear anything following that initial sound of stone scraping.
All right.
There's
Nora
definitely no
will
other
kind
way.
of glance around and make eye contact with the one person she can see. Like,
I'll just kind of
shrug and like go over quietly in that direction.
All right, you are armed with your car starting iron thing. Are you going to force the lock?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and find something good to brace it against and use all of
Assist.
my strength.
Yes, I'll explain. We heard something some minutes ago. Stone scraping or something. She could be hiding in there, or who knows.
Oh, best we don't wait around and let them get any more prepared for us then.
All right, give me a strength roll. Yeah, I'll say if two of you are trying, you could both give me strength rolls. Let's say two.
I don't have assistance. There you go.
Oof. The two of you. Oh, what?
I'm gonna spend 7 luck.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, you're not just going to go for a push the roll? Like, you could push the roll.
All right, I'll just push it.
I feel like this is a push the roll point. I mean, I'm not trying to backseat investigator you, but
Spending luck is so much more. Well, sure. No, that makes sense though. I think she would just kind of try again and brace herself against the wall or something in a more dangerous but more effective position.
are you both pushing it together or just you?
I'll push it with her if she wants assistance. Would you like me to assist you then, Nora? My hands are a bit slippery and wet then. Let me dry off quick.
Not pushing the roll by shooting it. I'm just kidding.
That's next.
I'll push it with you. I'll just dry my hands on my shirt.
All right, do it up. Thank God. I had a good plan if you had failed that. So Nora pulls hard on the tire iron, and it sounds like the door is giving. At the last moment, just as she's putting her full effort into it, the tire iron bends slightly, but doesn't break. And Thomas manages to give the final yank, and you hear a clatter as the door manages to break open. Give me a luck roll, Nora. Alrighty. So something happens because of that. You are now into the mausoleum.
What just happened?
Something.
I thought you were gonna make a gouge a hand or something.
Just something.
You just see Brady put on his fedora and then he equips a lasso.
Right.
Instantly turns into Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So whip at his side all of a sudden. You're like, where'd you get that whip? Like, I've always had that.
Well, if Flinders didn't let Miss Court know that we're there, I'm sure they certainly know now. We should move.
I'm gonna stealthily not stealthily get my gun out. I'm gonna get my gun out, but stealthily walk down the steps.
Okay, so I have a description for moving in here. Upon entering the mausoleum, the stone walls are adorned with classic Christian symbols and delicate floral embellishments. 2 sarcophagi flank stairs that descend downwards on the left side of the small room, while a wall of niches stand on the right, host containing urns, making it up a columbarium. Columbarium. Sorry, aside, I looked this up. A columbarium is specifically the word for a place that has a whole bunch of different little niches in the wall for entering urns. About 30 feet away at the far end from the door stands a small dais with a vase of flowers placed on top. Flowers look to be relatively fresh, with only a few fallen petals. While not immaculate by any means, the area is clearly well cared for.
Can Brady just keep an eye out for anything unusual, stepwise, and then maybe like iconography, like if it's like a stone or if it's like into the wall somehow, or even just like bricks or stones like that are part of the wall that maybe look maybe not so much out of place, but look like they may be interactable.
Sure. So, are you guys investigating then, like just this upper area for now, or you mean more in general that you're keeping an eye out of this as you walk
Yeah,
through?
yeah, just yeah, retroactively. Like I'm like as we go through here, I'll be looking for that to notice.
I'm looking for
Yeah.
recognizable symbols of like the flute, mirror, rabbit, stuff like that, as well as any occultage symbols. And
Well,
Arlene.
give me a flat occult roll, Thomas. And Brady, I guess give me a spot hidden roll for your looking. It's not like a cat. Oh my god.
I will
Shit.
help you look for spot hidden stuff.
Sure.
For secret passages and
So I will say that in this first area, that Thomas Watts, your occult roll, is very clearly generic Christian iconography. Saints and Jesus and obviously crosses, etc. In this upper area that is visible of the mausoleum.
Cross the right way round.
Not quite. No, they're in specific places, adorning particular.
No, it's not an upside down cross at all.
No upside down crosses. No.
Okay.
Brady, you rolled a sleight of hand instead, but a 13 is still very good, so we'll give you that.
Sorry, I think I was like really close to spot hidden. I just noticed it as well. I'll roll the spot hidden.
It doesn't really matter. I'm sure your spot hit like 13 is still probably good by your spot hidden. I would assume.
Yeah, my spot hidden is 70 or no 45. Sorry.
Yeah, so plenty good. And then Nora also barely gets pieces on the spot hidden. Looking around the area, you do see that you were correct. It looks like there is a couple wet footprints heading down the stairs to the left-hand side. The stairs that are going down. These stairs are a spiral downwards into black. The stone walls are have a faint dampness to them, and the air seems strangely humid at the entrance, right to the cool New England autumn outside.
In just this room, does there appear to be anything where that could have been making that noise I was hearing? Any slabs or scrapes on the ground or?
I'll say no, and that from where you were standing, it would have to be something that was very unobvious to be the case from when you were listening, because you could see through the grates into this room. Basically, like you could kind of see this room before, just not very well at all. Now that you're in there, you can see kind of more, make out what you were seeing. But like for something to have moved in there and you not to see it by standing outside listening, it would have been very unlikely.
Okay.
so it was probably like down the stairs or something that something shifted.
Yes.
Honora will gesture towards the footprints and sort of stand at the like threshold of the stairs and see what she can see downwards.
It is a spiral staircase, so you can see the curve of the spiral.
Okay, so the center is like blocked off.
Yeah, basically, like it goes down and spirals off to the left-hand side, so like you can't see what's further than that.
Quick question: does Watts and Baker, do both of you guys have your guns out?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Mine, I
Riot
guess.
will kind of do a double take and say, "You guys really think you'll need those things? I mean, there's just one woman." And
I also have a rifle.
Please do something epic.
you have a rifle.
Yeah.
I think Chris was
Just
just
saying-
saying he's got his too.
Yeah, mine's not out though. It's still concealed in my coat.
Okay.
Louise,
Nora
I
just
wish
kind
you
of looks back at you, shakes her head, and starts to like edge down the stairs.
I'll say, Mr. Wright, I understand this may seem a little drastic, but what me and Watts saw is I can't even describe it. It was terrifying. Um, Honestly, I don't know if what we have is enough if that creature shows up.
You really think she was behind it? Or connected in some way? So far, she hasn't really done anything wrong or nothing that we could prove.
And I do hope that we just come down here and are mistaken. And it's a awkward discussion that we have with Miss Court, but that creature, if I'd rather us be prepared for that than underprepared.
No one knows for sure she's responsible, but she's somehow involved, and if we do run into that creature, perhaps she will thank us for being ready. She could be in trouble, even as we dilly-dally. Is there anything else we want to look at up here?
Kind of glance back at the room, shake my head.
Maybe I should use my Ouija board and start rumbling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I know you guys don't believe in this stuff, but I can assure you it's more than. I can assure you it's more than what. What's his name? I forgot. It's blanked.
Flinders.
Flinders. Thank you. It's more than what he's capable of.
One should really hope so.
So you're on your way down the stairs?
Yeah, Nora's gonna start heading down unless someone stops her. Quietly, I guess.
A single image that I pulled up just to at least sort of set the scene. Oh yeah, that's right. You were right, Dan. I was going to change the music. I got caught up. I will do so momentarily. The stairs open onto a room of similar size to the one above. 4 Doric stone columns stand in a square in the center of the space, surrounding a circular mosaic of a woman. Directly across on the floor. Directly across from the door stands an elaborately carved altar. The walls either side have numerous niches, some 2/3 of which have urns placed within.
Anything recognizable from what I've discussed that I was looking for?
So there's no one else in this room.
The room is empty of any human habitation. Presumably, you are using your lanterns at the moment. Otherwise, it is completely pitch black.
I brought a torch with me, like an actual flashlight.
Yeah, I think we have a couple flashlights.
You come into the room. As I mentioned, you have a mosaic in the center of the room. You have 4 columns that stand central to the room in a square. There is an altar on the far side. What do you want to look at?
Scrapings on the floor, any recent footprints in the dust, anything like that.
I guess first give me a tracking roll or potentially a spot hidden. I guess tracking is really more appropriate as to whether you follow the footprints.
I'm going to start looking around for blocks that might have moved.
Just be listening.
I will also be looking for just things that look like they might be interactable, like blocks, bricks on the wall, tiles on the floor.
I'll go look over the altar.
So approaching the altar has a large Celtic cross made of stone placed in the center. Nothing else is placed upon the top other than thin film of dust. The front and sides are adorned with looping and twisting carved Celtic patterns and iconography. In the center of the front is a Ikova Levna, the Celtic knot of motherhood, prominently within the downward-facing triangle that sits within a circle in the center.
Do any of these symbols look like they could be pressed, like a button?
Give me a spot hidden. Hard spot hidden.
Okay. You said hard.
Hard. Hard success. You looking at it, it appears nothing jumps out to you as being potentially pressable per se, but you do notice that the dust has been smudged along the edge of the front of it, as if somebody placed their hand upon it and downwards. On the front of it, the central symbol that I described seems unusually less dusty.
So the Celtic cross on the top?
No, the Celtic cross is on top. No, this is the Celtic knot of motherhood that is placed into the face of the altar. That is in the center of a triangle surrounded by a circle.
I'll try first just like pressing it, and if that doesn't do anything, then I'll like try to rotate it or something.
Pressing it does not do anything. How are you attempting to rotate it?
So just I imagine there's like it's carved in a way that like I could put my fingers in between bits of it and just try to turn it.
Oh, funny. Was there a person in your backyard? Sorry.
No. If the video uploads, you'll see it.
Okay. Very, very, very creepy. All right. So, in terms of trying to rotate it, you grab onto it and initially try and rotate it to the left, and it doesn't move. But you start to rotate it to the right, and the triangle starts to spin, as does the central icon. Are you gonna spin it all around?
I'll stop as soon as it moves, as soon as it starts to move, and I'll say, guys, I think I've found something here.
I'd love to take a look at that and see if I can understand it.
Give me an occult roll.
It's my most used thing, and I lost where it was.
On looking at it, the downward-facing triangle is the pagan symbol for water. It is associated with motherhood in the womb. Similarly, the Ikovalevna is very obviously evocative of a womb and associated with the bond between mother and child.
Well, explain that. Is it facing the right way and stuff?
It is facing the right way for that. Yes, like both of them are facing correctly the right way. To turn it, obviously if both of them are turned, both symbols would be upside down, which would change the meaning of the triangle and would be nonsensical for the woman.
Nonsensical, so I wouldn't understand what it meant if it was upside down.
No, I mean, like, it's basically if you turn the triangle upside down, it becomes a different symbol in pagan symbology, whereas the Celtic knot simply does not turn upside down in terms of having any meaning.
What was the other symbol?
So if it turns upside down, it becomes the symbol for fire. It is a common element, and the upward-facing triangle it is equated with truth or wisdom.
I'll explain this to everyone. I say, like, right now, it signifies water, like motherhood in the womb. However, if we were to turn this upside down, it would have a completely opposite meaning of fire, truth and wisdom. I wonder if there's some kind of code.
Well, truth could mean the correct path or something like that, but I'm a little hesitant of the fire meaning.
The only thing I'm thinking of is a rebirth of something evil. This is the mother's womb. This is the womb of something being born again, i.e. the witch. But fire does sound worse than water. Would you prefer to drown or would you prefer to burn alive?
Why not?
So I will say so that when you tried to move it, the triangle and the knot both were able to move independently.
Oh boy.
Okay.
What's the you said the symbol for motherhood was something in Celtic, right? But what's the other one?
The other one is sorry. So it's water is the symbol it's currently inside, and the way the triangle downwards is water, which is also symbolic of motherhood.
Right, but what's
The
what's
other
it
way
with
around is fire. The upwards triangle would be fire and truth, or and then the downwards triangle is like the womb and water.
Right, but you said it was something occult?
No,
Like-
Celtic.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, no, the knot is Celtic. The triangle is just broadly pagan.
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 Okay.
There you go.
I will point out that you guys walked over the mosaic in the middle of the room and did not ask anything about it. And you would have all
Okay.
seen it.
Say again.
You walked over the mosaic in the middle of the room and nobody asked for anything specific about it, whereas obviously you all saw it.
Didn't you say it was a woman?
Yeah, you didn't ask me anything specific about
Can you tell me if this woman has blue eyes?
it. She's not a blue eye.
I was
Ah.
gonna say while I was messing with that, did anybody else see anything with their rolls?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did a tracking looking for stuff, but I failed that.
Yeah, so you lost track of there's no obvious signs of any footprints.
Did we see anything that moves or shifts or anything?
Other than the spinning of the thingy, no, nothing seems to move or shift particularly. The room is otherwise, despite the altar being somewhat dusty, the base of the room is fairly well swept. So it's not obvious to see if there's any tracks coming in through here as to anything moving or not moving on the floor. And then the walls are a whole bunch of different little cubby holes, which would take a lot of time to really carefully investigate. But at a glance, nothing seems particularly obvious.
I would start looking at this crazy mosaic. Does it look like it's like a particular person or more of a, I don't know, religious sort of motif?
The woman on the mosaic appears to be striding towards the right. Her left hand is raised, holding an ankh, and dangling from her right hand is an upwards-facing triangle.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there any symbology in the actual mosaic?
Yeah, so you could give me a cult roll to further interpret that, although you already got the one with the triangle, I suppose.
Because I was going to say with Brady having history or having...
Yeah, and so history would 100% be similarly valid. I mean, in fact, I'd say with a 75 in history, you would know that an ankh is like a very common... Basically, an ankh is a very common example of eternal life, and it's very common in terms of things like mausoleums and so on, and temples to the dead. That this is a very common piece of symbology.
Did you say it was downward facing, the room one?
So this is the upward facing triangle. The one that symbols fire. Truth is held below the one that symbols eternal life and is a symbol for a funerary rites.
Does it smell like there was something burned previously in here? Like maybe fire is a signal that we have to produce on the altar to be able to do something with it, making sure that it's all facing the right way.
There is no sign of that particular.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the thing to the fire. Leave the Celtic knot tied.
So you're gonna turn which one's which?
I'm gonna turn the triangle to fire and leave the knot tied.
All right, spinning it around, you hear the click as you turn the triangle, but not the knot. When it fully rotates all the way around to be facing the opposite direction and become the symbol for fire, you hear a click, the sound, a familiar sound to Mr. Wright of shifting stone. The mosaic in the center of the room splits apart and it falls downwards, becoming a twisting staircase in the center of the room, going deeper.
I think that's what I heard earlier. She must have already gone this way.
And we'd best follow her quickly.
Yes.
Is there something that I can put on the top step to block the exit from sealing up? Or is there an obvious handle lower down the steps that would reopen the mosaic?
No. You would have, yeah, like there's nothing obvious. You can see down the stairs that appeared into the mosaic as it like basically fell downwards and became a set of stairs. And you do not see any clear places that you could further interact with it up here.
Well,
So, like, the wall went down?
The floor went down. Literally, the mosaic flat in the middle of the room dropped downwards into a spiral staircase.
Okay.
well, I hope we can find a way out if this closes up behind us.
Well, they must have some way out.
I doubt Miss Court would have gone down there. She didn't expect a way out on the other side.
If she's a witch, I'm sure she knows how to magically reanimate herself somewhere else.
Right, just appears to be chewing on that for a while. Falls down.
Sorry, who are you guys heading down the stairs?
Yeah, Nora will lead the way with her gun ready.
You walk down the stairs, going down
Okay.
another level still. You find yourself entering this secret room that's below the mausoleum, and you find the same four pillars are placed as above. One side is bisected by a curtain. The room is dimly lit by a hearth on the far side with coals burning low and an electric lantern fixed in the wall over a cluttered desk to the right-hand side. A work table next to the desk has a small chemistry set in front of multicolored jars of unidentified powders and liquids. A large shelf stands against the wall beside the door with various books, scrolls, and a collection of artifacts with obvious occult significance.
I'm attracted to the books.
I would, like, with this room being lit up, I would try to convey to everyone we should be quiet and try to not be heard or seen.
Yeah, try and quietly listen for any sounds of other people here.
All right, give me a listen roll, and if you guys are being stealthy, give me stealth rolls.
I mean, the floor moving probably
I'm
gave
rolling
us away
terribly
anyway.
today.
You all forgot to clean the mud off your boots before we came in.
Someone just left their flashlight on.
It's appropriate between her screaming and banging the door open and then tromping on down here. You guys made a bit of a clatter coming down here, and you do not hear it, particularly as we come into the room.
Can I look at the books? I want to take everything that is really appealing occultist-wise and anything that links out to what we're experiencing. And funny enough, is there any Edgar Allan Poe down here?
So I mean, yeah, you could start skimming the books. Is anybody else doing anything else as you're coming into the room? Because obviously it would take a little while to go through this much.
Yeah, I want to go look behind the curtain just in case.
I was gonna say, is it like lit on the other side? Like, can we see things moving on the other side, or is it just like?
You can see a faint amount of light coming between the curtain, but it's clearly somewhat dimly lit on the other side of that.
Okay, I would have my. I don't know if I'd have it out now. I'll just wait to see what Nora sees.
I'll just be listening, trying to hear if anybody's approaching.
Actually, I think I'll look over the desk.
All right. Well, if Nora's going straight over to the curtain and opening it up, we're going to go there first. Nora, open the curtain and look in. Pulling back the curtain, you find a larger space than expected from the building above. Going back another 20 or so feet farther, The area has a central dais with an elaborate occult circle painted in the center. Several electric lanterns light the space poorly with their hoods dropped low, making it difficult to make out details. On the far side of the room stands a large rectangular object covered in carved. In front of it is Amelia Court.
She
She
says,
says, and she says, "It's like, so you found me. I didn't expect you to be able to track me down here."
Yes, well, perhaps you're not as sneaky as you think you are. You want to tell us what's going on with this, or should we take you back to have a conversation with the police, perhaps, about your involvement in the theft of the papers and death of a good man?
She says, like, that would be very unwise. I suggest that you holster your weapons and find yourself somewhere comfortable to sit in the other room. It seems that you've proved yourself useful in these matters, and you may yet be able to help me with the problems that currently beset Arkham and the terrible things that happen to Leader. But I'm not about to be held at gunpoint when there's other matters afoot.
Need our help.
In relation to the curtain that she pulled apart and the books that I was looking at, would I have been able to have stayed out of sight?
Yeah, you would be just around the edge of this. Basically, if Galloway had made her way across to the desk, she would be able to see pretty clearly through this open curtain. And anybody who had stayed close to the door yet would not be. Basically, because the curtain is like laterally across from you on the one side, and then like the middle has been opened, and then the desk is like over to the other side.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to remain hidden if I can and just listen to everything she says, and just leave it at that for now.
I guess I would, seeing or hearing this, I would move a little closer to Miss Baker and just say to Miss Court, I just have one question before anything else. Did you summon that creature in the courtyard?
I did not.
Do I believe her?
Psychology check?
I would also be interested in her reaction.
Yeah, so far she seems truthful. And again, it was
Necessary. Jesus.
I'll sigh and say, okay. I think we can have a civil discussion about the goings on. As I move my rifle on the strap so it's in a more comfortable position instead of a more readied position.
All right, she said, I guess she looks through and says, well, a lot of you trying to move into that central area is more comfortable than this room over here. And there are a couple benches around, as well as her seat by the desk.
I'll go ahead and walk in first then, if other people are hesitant.
So she's telling us to go
into the room that you were already basically
Yeah.
in, but just to
sit.
I'm gonna stay back a little bit, just listening to what she's suggesting first before I decide if it's potentially dangerous or not.
I'll just go sit near the desk.
Baker and Brady.
Yeah, I don't know. Baker just kind of snorts with disbelief, and we're going to expect a proper explanation this time, or you're not leaving. She'll go sort of lean against the wall, keeping an eye out.
So I had never left the staircase. but just kind of watching everything transpire. Did the staircase go down any further?
I did not.
It did not. Okay.
Hello.
At this point, I guess I'll just join the others and go to sit down.
All right. I need a quick pee break. If we want to take a quick. As you move into the room, those of you who do so, with Watts hanging back, kind of shadowing the door, in the shadow of the door. She comes over and says, "It's like, well, clearly you have some idea of what's been going on here. Maybe even encountered the monster yourself."
Yes, me and Watts did. It was terrifying, to say the least.
Indeed, that was exactly the experience of one Keziah Mason several centuries ago. The elder of the Mason clan at the time, he thought himself something of a warlock. Decided that he would summon a elder being of power to his side on this plane, thinking that he could control it. His foolishness knew no bounds. Summoning an elder being is, of course, impossible for a mere mortal. But he did manage to catch the attention of one lesser servant of such a being and pulled it into existence on this side. Little did he know it was far beyond his ability to control, and well, to make a long story short, that is how the Hob House papers came to be. He had to pull in the Hob Houses into aid him in trapping the beast once more. They were able to hold it within the papers that fell into one leader's hands all these years later. They were never supposed to be opened again, keeping this terrible thing at bay. Unfortunately, Leader the Fool decided to not only pull the papers out, but decided to try and copy them for his own gain. In so doing, the seal has been broken. It's only a matter of time before this creature is able to burst its way forth into our realm once more and cause havoc wherever it appears. Any questions at this point? Before I go on?
1 second, frantically scribbling.
Yeah, does it make sense? Does it make sense to me what she's saying? Like, is there some truth to what she's saying?
I would say that's more appropriately a Galloway or Brady question from a history perspective.
Does she believe what she's saying?
That is a psychology roll if you want to give me one, Miss Baker. She so far does seem to believe. I suppose technically she gets to do a contested roll against that, but I already let the cat out of the bag. She does seem to believe that is what she will say. Forget it. She has very high psychology. She has an ability to try and counteract you.
You said they sealed it into the papers themselves?
Indeed, the papers act as the sealant. The folio itself not only documented the actual experiment that was done in terms of bringing it in, but was then used as the method to bring it back into some kind of sealed chamber or place away from time. They could not send it back from whence it came, but at least they could prevent it from wreaking further havoc upon the lands around here.
So what happened to these papers? It was entrusted to Leader, and he was trying to copy it.
Well, the Hobhouse family passed it down from one generation to the next until the elder member of the clan died without putting in a proper inheritance plan for such valuable possessions. unbeknownst to anyone, the dangerous papers were simply handed off to the Cobb family, who handed them over unknowingly again to the Miskatonic University to assay their value. Obviously, it was quite clear that they had some significant value, being unknown historical documents, but no one could have expected that they had such power held within them.
And how
What
did
was
you?
your position exactly in this? You seem to know your way around this particular crypt.
So she says, like, as one of the remaining Kerwin family line, true-blooded and pure, I still hold the powers of the long line of witches that go back all the way many centuries to the homelands across the sea. It is I that realized the true danger of them, but too late before they had been handed off to that fool leader, and I could not get them from his hands until finding out that he had given them away to the foolish forger Cecil Hunter. It did terrible damage to him, and I only found him in the depths of madness and was able to obtain the papers from him before they were found by whoever found him next.
Sorry, what was that last bit? She took the papers back?
She took the papers from Cecil Hunter because she was not able to get them from Leader before by the time she found out their true nature.
Okay. And how did you come to find out about the true nature of these papers?
In studying some of the other documents from the Hob House treasury, there's other references that obliquely describe the dangers that happened at that time. It seems that virtually all meaningful documentation of the court proceedings that followed that ultimately cleared Keziah Mason of wrongdoing. Wrongly so. It was only his power and wealth that managed to keep him from being burned at the stake for his foolishness. But ultimately, I lost my train of thought. But ultimately, there were some references in a few of the papers talking about other court cases at the time and witch trials that did make some mention of what had been done.
Did Hunter finish his copy?
He did not, but unfortunately, he had done enough work to break the seal. Handling the papers is dangerous to anyone's sanity, as the creature is able to connect directly with them. But to actually copy them and create a forgery, that is what has caused the seal to be broken. He was not able to completely break it because he went mad before the task was done. But the damage still is complete, and soon enough, maybe in a matter of days, it will fully unravel, and it will be released upon our plane.
Do you know what we can do to reseal it?
Well, the first thing you could have done to reseal it was not bother me. The second is to help me. Mr. Brady over there is actually in possession of my, shopping list, as it were.
My apologies. I just, if you can understand the situation we're in, it was urgent that we knew your position in the matter, regardless of what you told us. We needed to know for sure. And I'll just hand it back to her.
Vaguely sheepishly. She says, thank you, though, of course, I will not forget the things I had noted in there. Well, if you are willing to help me, I do have a plan that I think can seal this creature back away. As you noted in there are several things that I need. The plan is to cast a greater elder sign that will first summon the creature out and then seal it away properly back into its own dimension. I like to think that after the centuries have passed, that myself and the rest of the remaining witches of the clan have the powers that go beyond that full mason and used to create it in this area. We are looking for a disc of lead or some other malleable metal on which to engrave the elder sign itself. We are also looking for a large silver mirror. I'm fortunate to say that I have actually managed to bring one of those down here. It sits across the way. Do not pull this cover off until the time is right, or it will immediately draw the creature forth. We are then looking for a metal flute or some kind of panpipe. We need to use the enchantment of light to increase the power of the spell. And finally, we need some kind of animal sacrifice, a rabbit or larger mammal. That is the required sacrifice for binding that will bind the outer god upon it being summoned.
Forgive my skepticism, Miss Court, but what guarantees do we have that this ritual you're wanting us to aid you in doesn't simply release this creature? Or
She says, guarantees. Well, of course you have none. You can believe me or not. You can choose to walk away from here, or you can stop me in my efforts. I have no weapons on hand, and if you do so, well, merely wait and see what happens in the next few days.
I don't know about the rest of you, but this all makes a kind of sense at this point, and she doesn't seem to be lying. Her brain seems to be operating correctly, unlike our friend Flinders, and, well, it's the only plan we've got.
Flinders, is that idiot here? Surely you haven't brought him down here.
I told him to stay at the car. I'm pretty sure he was convinced, but one can never tell with idiots.
Oh, thank the great mother. Why, that idiot's been a pain in my side for years now at the university.
You did mention a sacrifice.
Indeed. Unfortunate, but I would not sacrifice a man as much as he may pain me. I would much prefer a smaller animal. It's not something I relish doing in any case.
That is admirable. We can find something, I'm sure.
There is one final thing you interrupted me in acquiring. I was just researching. There is a special artifact that will greatly increase our chances of success. Not required, but it would be quite the boon. There is mention upon the papers of a particularly powerful item that Keziah Mason used himself originally in the It is called the Star Stone of Minar. It was apparently buried with him deep in his tomb, which happens to stand adjacent right here. Surely you saw it on your way in.
You wouldn't happen to know a way in.
And unfortunately, that was exactly what I was looking into. I had hoped to find a more surreptitious way in than the one you used to get here. I knew of your coming, from when whoever that was up there shrieking incessantly. I hope that was Flinders for your sake, because I assumed you were all idiots.
Yes, well, he can be mildly persuasive at times. I suppose you continue to look into your magical back roots or whatever exactly you're doing, and perhaps since there's unlikely to be anyone else around here to disturb, we can try our more brute strength methods and see if that works. I assume, sort of out of character, that this was the door that was like a solid door.
Yes.
assuming we help you and this ritual is successful, afraid we are still beholden to the university and owe an explanation to the dean. Do you have documents or something that we could at least pose as these papers were supposed to have reacquired?
The papers will be destroyed upon actually successfully summoning the beast. So unfortunately, the originals will never make their way back into the hands of the university. One way or the other, whether it happens naturally in the course of the beast doing itself, or whether we do so to summon it and once again trap it. No matter what, they will be destroyed. I suppose your only hope is to, well, I suppose return to the concept of forgery. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody else. I have already been struggling with the terrors that beset me for handling the papers so regularly myself.
So surely, with so few people having actually read them, a plausible forgery that bears little resemblance to the original might suffice for historical purposes. Perhaps there's simply not as much information of a new nature in there as anyone thought previously.
Well, if any of you would like to take on the effort, the papers sit over there on the desk.
And leader, he simply died from reading the original documents.
Indeed, the touching the documents in any way will connect you to the beast. It will manifest more and more aggressively, besetting your sanity and even your physical being until, well, all but the most strong-willed of minds will succumb, destroying themselves in the process.
You say simply touching these documents is enough.
Indeed.
How did Mr. Leader acquire the documents from the estate? Was there an intermediary?
As far as I know, that they were handed off within a sealed folio, so the first to actually hold them was him. If not, then, well, I'm sure there are other victims out there somewhere that have been explained away as an unexpected bout of insanity that have caused their death or their complete descent into madness.
This is all going to be very difficult to explain.
Indeed, it's something that I was avoiding having anything to do with, fortunately, and I have to say is not my problem.
At the very least, perhaps an ill-timed fire. We'll see what we can come up with, but for now, the beast seems a higher priority. I'd rather not have to shoot any more zombies.
What's your stake in all this? Why are you trying to help save the university?
I care not so much for the university as simply the lives that will be lost if such a thing is brought to bear upon this area. It would likely not stay upon this plane for too long. It's not its favorite habitat, but it would certainly glory in the killing of many innocents before moving on to another place.
And how did you come to know of all this? Was it simply luck that you were working at the your under leader?
Well, I can't say that I didn't choose working under leader randomly. It was my only opportunity to make my way further into the department that would see me handling, well, more of such things as this. I normally would be on the lookout for, obviously, other special, interesting information, artifacts, and useful ideas that might be of importance to somebody with, well, magical skills such as I. I never expected for such a powerful beast to simply fall into the hands of somebody who would so foolishly allow it to escape before it was otherwise dealt with.
Out of character, where did she say she was from?
So, The courts are part of the part of the surviving Kerwin family, like the you're in, who are rich people from New England. So she comes from money. And I don't know. I mean, I suppose Galloway would particularly have some idea that obviously, like, not doing this particularly up until this point, she went to some efforts to make sure that like nobody knew about the fact that she was from like a rich, well-established family. She didn't go exactly around broadcasting it. Basically, like her university was paid for by somebody, but otherwise, she didn't exactly make a lot of friends and didn't exactly go around being like, "Oh, I'm the rich girl."
You said she was from what family?
The Kerwin family.
Kerwin.
So the Kerwin, Masons, and the Martians are the three very well-established mausoleums in this little ancient area of the Arkham Cemetery.
Well, if you have the papers already, then I think that's one worry off of our shoulders, and I think we can help you find these objects that you need.
They are not too complicated to find, but it's time is of the essence, and we need to strike them down. Certainly, the hardest will be getting into Keziah Mason's tomb, or into the Masonic tomb, and finding Keziah Mason's sarcophagus. It is said that the stone of Minar was, Starstone of Minar was buried with him.
Sure, we can figure something out. The copy you say is what did the damage. I don't suppose then that this might be something we should deal with. Sort of pull out the metal plate, still like wrapped up. Like I wouldn't look directly at it.
It is, you took that from from Hunter's apartment then.
It didn't seem like something that should be left behind.
I had little time to get in and get the papers and get out. I saw it standing there in his room, and well, hoped it was just a painting. It was good that you took it. I'm surprised that the police did not come into touch it, but it is, well, obviously a dangerous thing. Well, I'd prefer not to touch it. So place it over there against the wall, covered.
Definitely. I'll lean it so it's like also like face down, basically, so it can't just like fall over and somehow be uncovered.
Because like the creature looks for any portals close to those that it, particularly close to those that it has touched. But this entire area now is beset by it. You've certainly seen manifestations, I'm sure, in the previous days. Both the creature itself and various other goings on, strange weather patterns, lights, and odd noises and sounds. This is something that manifests from its repeated attempts to break the barrier that slowly comes around.
I whispered to you, not whispered, sorry, I put in the chat, I'm listening for the weather.
From down here, it's still raining upstairs. You don't hear anything really crazy. It was raining. It's been raining all night.
I'll say, well, time is of the essence, as you said. So I guess we should get a move on. I'll kind of just look to the others and be like, should we try to get into the Mason's crypt tonight, since we're already here?
It would be the logical first place to look.
It would be good to know that we have that dealt with. Sure, an animal sacrifice won't be that hard to come by.
I guess I would ask Amelia Court if she has better ways of entering the mausoleums than using a tire iron.
She says, that is a good question. I was researching the history of the Mason Mausoleum. I had uncovered that there apparently is a secret entrance. It is hidden in a distant cousin's burial plot, not far behind the actual tomb itself. Should you be able to find one Hebediah Mason, you will see that it is a stone-covered slab. You'll have to find a way to move it off, and then you'll should discover some kind of steps down into the lower level of the mausoleum itself.
What was the name of the mason again?
Hebediah.
Hebediah.
So, I guess we will go look at that, but maybe we can get the car closer for that.
I mean, you guys had looked for an entrance before to these, but that you guys looked like around the thing. This is like a little ways from the thing. You're gonna have to go and like search around like all the ways behind the actual tomb or the actual mausoleum to check the different gravestones to find. It wouldn't have been something that would have just.
I would say I don't suppose witches have a spell that makes suspicious people less suspicious, do they? I'm thinking our Flinders fellow is going to be hard to placate when we return.
She looks at you appraisingly, and one side of her mouth slowly grises up into a bit of a smirk. She says, if you don't think you can simply take care of Finder's suspicions, he's very easily led in any direction you choose. I could find a way that like forget this thing could ever happen.
I guess we should get out of here then.
You can, if you're looking for me, you'll still find me generally somewhere on the Miskatonic University campus in my usual places during the day. I still have research yet to do to be able to finalize the information I need from the spell, and the sealed archives, as I'm sure you found out, are a wealth of information. Understands their true value.
I'm gonna make myself known. I'm gonna step around now and just ask the group. So we believe that Amelia is telling the truth.
She seems to be, or she's a very good liar. Either way, she's got more information than anybody else has so far.
What is the connection with Edgar Allan Poe and all of this?
He was a not so direct as you might think. He was a artist who had a particular connection to these things. There is many instances over the centuries where artists, the most sensitive of minds, have been drawn to the emanations of the elder gods, able to channel them, able to feel their thoughts and their ideas, bringing them into this world around us in the form of their artwork. Rarely do they know the truth of what it is that they cut. Often feeling that it is a muse that touches them for only a small portion of their life, something fleeting, something come and gone that manifests in terms of a sudden inspiration, whether it be a painting or a poem or some kind of statue or other art that is extreme, grotesque, something otherwise otherworldly that the average person looks upon and does not know how the human person think.
Interesting, because that Cecile boy was quoting different two Edgar Allan Poe poems specifically after going insane from these papers over here. And I walk towards the papers.
She won't stop you, and she says, like maybe he saw some kind of symbolism, some kind of connection in his own channeling of the demon that drew some kind of truth into his own mind that was reflected upon those poems.
And you say that anyone who looks upon these or tries to read these papers will be imbued with the beast.
Specifically, as far as I know, touch. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but that seems to be the common thread.
Okay, I'll look at it and read it. I'll touch it.
Only some of the papers are easily visible up top. There's a stack of them. And the papers go into some detail of, well, more or less what she's discussing. There is the startings of a set of specific, written accounts of the actual trial of Keziah Mason that had been sealed. That was specifically questioning him about his role in summoning the creature that the demon that had slaughtered various people in the countryside. The next paper over seems to detail some pictures of various magical circles and runes, likely responsible for the actual use of the actual act, or possibly the act of stealing.
Can I get a stick or something, or a pencil, and move the papers across?
Yeah.
I'd like to try that.
Using a like quill that is not yet written in, you pull it up and go to touch the papers. And she says, "Be careful. That may well qualify as touching the papers for the purposes of the beast within."
Well, how did you get it here?
I have touched the papers. I have touched all the papers. I have merely held the beast back with my own strength of will and certain magical skills that I have kept alive upon myself to prevent its intrusion.
Well, can you open up? Can you expose some more papers for me?
As I have much work to do, I'm not here to be your
I'm just trying to learn more about this so I can help you more.
You could help me by obtaining the items that I've asked for.
Now that we have everything out in the open, is there anything else that you can tell us about Mr. Wick and his dealings with Mr. Leader and Hunter?
Wick, a useful but obscene man. There's something not right with him. There's something potentially even magical about him. I've never quite placed my finger on it. I've dealt with him as little as possible. He seems fine at face value, and if anything, is one of the few people in this city that can get you truly magical items should you really need them, of course at a cost. I can't say that he's a bad man, but there is something not quite right.
Miss Court, go ahead.
He seemed quite interested in visiting Mr. Leader's body. Is there anything we should be concerned about?
Interested in visiting his body? Where is his? Is it still interred down in the in the medical building?
Yes.
It should be buried, or ideally cremated as soon as possible. Who knows what kind of magic is working on it still? Otherwise, his interest, I have no idea.
If he was a magic user, is there anything that he could do?
We said those who read the papers or touch the papers become imbued with the beast. Maybe that's his way of releasing it. If obviously he's evil.
Again, I don't think that he seems most interested in money. I would wager that man has figured out that there is something at work here more than just the average ancient papers with some kind of useful information. Uh, as far as I can tell from what happened between Leader and his crony, that there is some interest in the position of these papers by various other people who are knowledgeable about such matters. Exactly to what degree they know, fear not. Ultimately, I hope to destroy them before they fall into the hands of somebody who would use them for some darker purpose. They likely do not know that the seal has already been cracked.
What would happen if we just burned these papers now?
It would release the beast immediately into our presence.
It would be a shame to lose all the history behind the papers. Is there nothing that can be salvaged?
They can be copied. The act of copying them, of course, may hasten the breaking of the seal, and of course, will be significantly taxing on the mind of the person who is doing the copy. I mean, just simply look at what happened to Cecil Hunter himself. Last I saw him, he was a bloody mess, gibbering fool, lying on the ground in a pool of his own blood.
Perhaps if one was to omit certain things, it would be less taxing.
You're welcome to experiment.
Exactly my opinion. I am handling the papers only as much as I need to reference the diagrams that might help me in understanding how best to ensure that we successfully seal this beast back into whence it came. That any further efforts are inadvisable, but given that you are willing to help me, I will defer to your own judgment if you wish to undertake an effort. Simply know that such an effort would be best undertaken once we are absolutely fully ready to attempt to seal it. Even then, would be increasing the danger many times fold.
Do you have any remnants of the forgery?
I only grabbed the originals. They may well still be sitting in Central Hunter's apartment. I can't imagine those fools in the police particularly spent much time going over them in careful detail. It is clear that he did not completely finish his forgery, but there may well have been some papers somewhat finished. To what extent, I do not know. Out of character or out of keepering, you guys did get some forgery copies. You have like a few papers.
Yeah, I had some.
So, Miss Court, would you happen to know anybody by the alias of Mr. Jenkins?
Leroy.
That name is not known to me. It was not super common, but not ringing any bells.
One more question. You wouldn't happen to know how to read Arabic, would you?
Arabic is not one of my specialties, at least not modern Arabic. I do know a little bit of ancient Aramaic script, and otherwise I can read Greek and Latin. But if you're speaking of like an actual modern document, I would be out of my area of expertise.
Okay.
Oh, perhaps we should see about this artifact then.
You know anything of Alien?
Harleen, the language of the elder gods. This is the language of the lost island of Riley. I do not know. I've never seen it, I've never been able to decipher it myself. I've seen it on a few of the artifacts down in the Miskatonic Vault.
Is there any linkage to this?
Well, this is a manifestation of one of the servants of such an elder god. Whether or not it is specifically one of Cthulhu's minions or a different god, that I am not sure.
Do you know which god this is? because I have been able to decipher some of the alien tablets. By decipher some of the tablets, I mean decipher some words.
And what is it that you have found?
I found that what the first tablet is basically a table of contents. There's 48 tablets talking about the history of Alia, the sinking of Alia, and a location of Mu has been mentioned as well.
This covers a wide range of subjects. Like obviously, the actual island of Rylia would be very much connected with Rylian. This is the language of the Elder God.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, did you say you knew what the god is that we're dealing with now? The beast?
This actual beast, yeah, I'm not sure. It may be a manifestation of Cthulhu or Yog-Sothoth, among others. There are quite a number of different ones. But ultimately, well, can't exactly ask.
Well, any of them linked with worms?
I have seen the worm iconography, and I'm, well, not sure. At least in terms of what I've read, that Keziah Mason was undertaking, uh, slumbering one Cthulhu seems to be the best link, but the connection with worms is not quite right with the iconography and the is usually associated with another account.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Like I've seen the worms. We saw Professor Galloway and I saw this creature that looked like it was covered in worms but had 4 legs, sharp teeth, glowing eyes. And Cecil Hunter was quoting the Conqueror worm from Edgar Allan Poe. So there seems to be a strong linkage between worms.
She says, it may be that it is not simply one thing, but more. It could be that it is a one entity that has been infested or conquered, as it were, by another.
Could I put like would I know that if I put a ring of salt around? I mean, could I put a ring of salt around the papers?
Yeah, are you carrying salt with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an occultist, and they'll say you said there's some weird potions, and not potions, but
yeah,
ingredients
and
down here.
certainly you probably spot something that looks like salt. Yeah, you could grab it. She could say, if you do grab and go to put salt, she'll say like, please don't spread salt all over my desk. I assure you, a simple salt circle worked for this situation. I would have already used it.
It's just more. I mean, like obviously they're hiding in papers, and you know how fragile paper is. It's more so just that what's the harm with a little bit of added protection?
The harm is the gritty salt all over my desk that I'll have to deal with for the next several days.
So this, on the grand scheme of things, a little bit of salt, rubbing salt in the wounds is not the worst thing in the world.
If you really wish to spread salt all over just the papers, I won't stop you. But I warn you, I do not think it will prevent you from the effects that the papers have on you.
I'll do it anyway. Don't stop. And I'll draw some symbols of protection around. Warding.
As he's doing all this around the papers, I'll take the opportunity to approach. I'll grasp the object inside of my pocket. Is there any reaction as I'm closer to the papers?
Yes, but I would say as you grasp the object in your pocket, you notice that it has been starting to get warm since you come down here, probably. The papers, it does seem to react to in particular as you get closer to them. It gets noticeably hotter, but it was unusually warm in the first place. So there are likely various things that are affecting it in this area.
Does it get less warm when I do the salt around the ring? When I do.
And refresh my memory. The first time it got warm was that we were looking at papers we recovered from Leader's house?
Yeah, that was actually the forgeries did also cause it to react.
Okay, good to know. Miss Court, after all this is finished, would you be amicable to an interview, even if it was never published?
I suppose you'll have to ask me when it's all over. I can't say that I trust you all that much just yet. I'm going out on a limb as it is, letting you take on these tasks for me. If it were not that I was so pressed for time and worried that at any point that the seal might break, I would have simply made you all forget about this ever happening and sent you on your way.
Okay,
Hello,
I'm
Arise.
definitely analyzing her as she's saying this. Does she believe she can make us just forget stuff?
I would also like to see if she believes that.
What color were her eyes?
Her eyes are blue, and yes, she does believe that she can do it.
No shit, oh fuck. Oh no.
No.
I'll say Nora actually specifically knows that with her extreme success. I'll say your regular successes would not be enough to know for sure.
Oh, we don't know for sure?
Yeah, I say yeah, your successes were not. I did a roll for her earlier where I forgot to actually do a psychology roll. Anyway, extreme success is what we need to beat her bluff or potential bluff. As a contestant, you can do better than her.
Okay, so we get the impression that she could be telling the truth, but could also be fibbing.
Well, so I would say you get the impression that she's telling the truth, but that in terms of the role out of character, you do not feel confident about it. Whereas with the extreme success, I would say that Emily, as the out of character person playing the investigator, has that information that she does feel very confident that she's not making a bluff in this case.
Nora kind of raises one eyebrow appreciatively and finally holsters her gun.
She gives you a nod.
Well, I'll let the questioning go to those who are more familiar with these subjects and start hunting around the graveyard for what's his face?
Jedediah Mason.
Yeah, that guy. And I'll head back up.
I'll follow out.
As soon as she gets outside, she will start rolling a cigarette before she does anything else.
I saw some interesting books on your shelf here. Do you mind if I hold on to a couple? After, like, I don't mean right now, but I mean, like, I'd love to be able to learn more about all of this. Maybe afterwards you'll allow me access.
I don't know. Give me the social role that corresponds with how you're trying to ask her.
I respectfully, basically. It's more so like admiration. Charm? You say persuasion or charm?
Charm is if you're just being like, charm is if you're trying to be like a little smooth about it.
Well, it depends. Is she pretty?
Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't be charming.
No, I know. What is it? I don't see it.
Charm?
Oh, I see charm. I don't see persuasion.
Persuasion should be way over on the other side, if I recall.
Oh, there, persuade, yeah. Hard fail.
Yeah. She says, unlike Miskatonic Library, I don't do loans. If everything should go well and you impress me with your ability to help in these matters, I might see fit to provide you with some access to a few specific materials that you might find interesting. But for the time being, your access to the vaults below Miskatonic should be good enough to consider that you would would be unlikely to get such access otherwise.
All right, worth an ask. Worth an ask. So we're looking for who? We're looking for Keziah Mason's grave, and then we believe that's going to give us access to the temple. Is that what we think?
She sighs and she says, Hebediah Mason. Hebediah Mason is the cousin whose grave actually conceals a secret entrance ways from the mausoleum. And then within it, you will find Keziah Mason as the elder leader of the clan 2 centuries back. Is, interred in quite splendorous style if the records are to be believed. You'll have to find a way into his sarcophagus to obtain the Star Stone of Minar, which is somewhere within that sarcophagus dead body.
And you don't know where his resting place is, fully accessed, but it's somewhere in this graveyard.
As far as I know, it should be maybe, basically 30, 40 feet somewhere behind based on the schematics, but they're not very exact.
All right, I'm going to head up there. I'm going to look for it.
Did I find anything while I was looking?
So yeah, if you started looking, I guess it hasn't been that long, and this is not exactly a spot hidden. You're just checking things. I guess just give me a luck roll to see whether you stumble on it really quick. You did! Surprise! Basically, as you're smoking and wandering, the rain has started to let up, fortunately. It is now drizzling, and it is weather that you could smoke under the brim of your hat. Likely to do so without taking the cigarette from your lips in the rain. Something you probably do as a heavy smoker. And you wander amongst the various gravestones scattered behind, quite thickly behind the mausoleum that you are interested in getting into. And surely enough, you stumble across one that is labeled for Keziah Mason. Keziah Mason. That has a thick slab across the top that is firmly in place at the moment.
I guess I will look for ways to pry it up. How close can we get the car to this area?
You'd have great difficulty. Basically, that the entire graveyard is pretty chock-a-block as one of the older graveyards in the city. There is one path down the center of the graveyard that a car or a hearse could get down, and then virtually everything else is like that.
Yeah, when we came up, was there any sign that the gate had been further disturbed?
Oh, you mean the gate to the outside to this one?
Yeah.
No, there is no sign.
I'll probably head back to the car where they left Flinders, anticipating he might get restless in a bit.
Does that leave Benjamin and Thomas still downstairs with her?
I mean, I was still talking to her last, but I did say I'm out. I'm going to go out and look as well.
Well, whoever's last out, she'll say, make sure you lock the gate on your way out. I'd hate to have somebody else wandering down here.
How do you think we got in?
Well, I certainly hope you picked the lock, but given all the noise, I take it maybe you didn't?
No, unfortunately we did not. We obviously had every right to believe that you were working against us, so we were moving in haste to stop whatever this was. However, it's come to our knowledge that we are working together. So apologies on that.
She sighs heavily and says, I will send out some masons and iron workers tomorrow to have it fixed. I'll get in touch with my mother.
Do you not know any magic spells that can just block any entry from unwanted visitors that you could just put up in place?
Unfortunately, no, that is not a part of my repertoire.
What is your repertoire? Can you show me something super basic, please?
Moments later, you feel as if you had just asked her about just asked her, or she had just asked you about closing the door on the way out.
Okay. So she's made me forget that. I just went through that entire discussion.
Yes.
Do I feel like I want to ask her again, or do I just feel like I want to go?
Yeah, you just want to go.
Okay. I'll leave.
You can see her smiling a little bit as you.
And I'll scratch my head at the bottom, like I'm feeling like I'm forgetting something, but not quite sure what it is. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Anyway, it's obviously not important, and I'll head up.
I'll follow.
All right. Well, you guys, if there's anything you want to discuss, obviously you would likely hear from Nora, who would flag you guys down once you're just outside of the little sacred little area of square of the mausoleums. You would see her a little ways across the graveyard over the stones.
Whenever the others make their way up out of the mausoleum, I'll ask them. You shut the door, right? The stone door.
The floor.
Yes.
Yes, I would have turned the triangle again.
As you did so, it sealed back.
Just making sure that was on record.
Alrighty. Great. Yeah, so obviously, Nora, you said you were going to try and open it. Tell me how you were trying to open it. Maybe a strength check.
I don't know. I guess I'll try the slightly bent crank first and just try and find a way to like wedge it under a corner or edge or something.
There's no like obvious edge to it. There's a little bit of an overhang. I would say logically the place you would probably start is to slide it to the side.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more like in the ground.
No, it's like slightly raised up. Like it's
Gotcha. Okay, then yes, I would just try and push it to one side.
Maybe a strength check. That was what I was going to ask for. Extreme. That's what we needed. With an extreme check, you brace yourself against the other stone cemetery, grave to the side, and you put all of your force into it, pushing extremely hard. You feel your muscles ripple and tense, and as you force yourself against it, you hear the sound of scraping stone against stone. And it gradually slides across, revealing a dark pit within.
I guess sort of point a light downwards, see how far we can see.
Looking down, there is a few rungs of what essentially make a ladder cut into the stone down the side before dropping down to stairs that head downwards further.
How did the weather react when Nora opened this?
No difference.
No difference. I'm gonna turn to Benjamin and say, "The berries on Nora never cease to amaze me."
Yeah, she must be feeling herself right now with the roller coaster that is our current situation. Just it's definitely been a ride so far.
Indeed. On the actual tomb itself, the grave site, any symbols, anything that stands out to us?
I'll say very obviously there is Masonic symbols on it. They're Masons. They're long-standing Masons. So there is some fairly standard Masonic iconography. Nothing unusual.
It's just I want to take into my mind any symbols that I'm seeing in case there's any keys to unlock anything, like any obviously patterns that we might need later to unlock anything.
All right. Well, I guess Nora will have the last puff of her smoke and kind of toss it away into the rain, and then start climbing down.
All right, you find yourself looking down a stairway that is rough hewn stone that heads downwards a good 30 feet below the graveyard. No sconces on the walls, no lights otherwise besides your torch.
Well, hopefully this one is empty and quiet. Shall we?
Before I'll be the last one to go down, and before I head down, I just want to look around to see if there's like anybody watching us.
That's a good idea. Go ahead.
No, I don't see anything.
Is that the second 100 of the campaign?
Yeah,
I
I
think
so.
both of them have been me.
Yeah, we had a couple 99s as well, but I think that's the second 100. You don't see it.
Have we seen a 1 yet? Anyone rolled a 1?
Yeah, I think we had 1-1 at some point. I was gonna say, yeah, okay. So, I need to pee really quickly one more time, but like super quick. It just, I'm pretty cold. But we can get a little bit more done before we wrap up for the night. Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so just like 2 minutes.
So what should I be telling Flinders when I head back? Because I'm thinking maybe tell him that she or Miss Court claimed not to be a witch, and we excised her anyway, just to be sure. I don't know.
You could just say that. I mean, you could just try to lie to him and say like she wasn't there, or she was there, but she was just like paying respects to her ancestors or something.
Well, she's a court, so he doesn't know the connection between her and the Masons.
Well, no, she was in the Kerwins. She is a.
Yeah, no, but she has not published that Kerwins and Courts are like the same group. This is something that she has kind of kept in her past. Like you'd have to have some knowledge of like high society in Arkham to make that connection, which was that thing with like Nora had to do a lot of rules to be like, oh right, this is actually the same family.
He saw her go into the graveyard, and specifically to that mausoleum, right?
No, he lost her trail, and then we caught her trail and followed it there.
Oh,
Didn't know
okay,
that.
makes it easier.
But he did follow you to it.
Yeah, but he knew specifically where she actually went in. We looked at all the mausoleums, and we weren't really sure and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
He also doesn't know how to get downstairs. Like,
no,
because we closed it up, right?
Right. That was a backup plan in case.
Yeah, it's a good one because he didn't hear the stones either, and he wasn't with us when you said that you'd heard them.
Right.
I would say give him a fake, really important mission to go do something.
We'll probably
We need him.
get a status update on what the hell Court's doing in a graveyard. I guess since he lost her in the graveyard, I can say she's visiting family. Hopefully, there is a court in the graveyard.
There probably is, considering it's not like a super uncommon name.
Cool.
So you guys are continuing on down all together into this.
I was gonna split off, and at some point tell or placate Flinders. Make sure he doesn't bother Cord anymore.
Okay, so you're gonna head off to the front to keep him busy while everybody else goes. All right.
I
Well,
know weather right. That's what I'll tell him. But if you didn't hear me, I said keep an eye on the weather. Right.
Okay.
all right. So the rest of you head on down. You follow this path some 40 feet and find yourself at a iron grate or iron doorway that is or a door that is how do you perceive?
Iron door, you said. So you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, an iron door, iron like barred door. You can see through it with your flashlight that there is the interior of a mausoleum, some sarcophagi, and various other alcoves on the inside that make up a broken up room.
Well, I guess if it's locked, then we'll try and pry it open again.
It is not
All right. Onwards.
It'll give you a chance if you wanted to be careful and stuff. Yeah, no, you if you try the door, the handle does not initially, but if you give it a good jiggle with a screech and a bit of complaining, a groan, it starts to move, and you're able to open the door inwards into this room. It is a much dustier and poorly kept lower level of this mausoleum. Clearly, few have been here in any period of time. You see 4 different sarcophagi, 2 on each side, that are large, well embellished carvings with various iconography across them, both Masonic and Christian. Each one has a death mask that is carved into the face of it, as well as, of course, a name carved upon the side.
Does it look like anybody has been here at all? Are there any like tracks in the dust or anything?
You give me a spot hidden or a track roll. You spot nothing. There is definitely like a significant layer of dust upon everything, which would make it fairly obvious, you think, if anybody had passed through. It does not appear if anybody has passed through. You do see a stairway on the far side going upwards into the upper levels of the mausoleum that you were next to earlier.
Doesn't look like anyone's been here in a while. I guess let's take a look at the names, and I'll head to the closest one on my right.
I also look to see, because knowing that they're masons, can I see if there's any, looks like there's any hidden switches or buttons in the stonework or in the floors and stuff like that?
I'll go the opposite way around, looking at the nameplates.
All right. So give me a spot hidden, I guess, first, Mr. Watts, for checking for any triggers and stuff.
All my bad rolls are coming later, and it's happening.
Then I will say, Nora, going on the left, you see a female death mask quite clearly carved into it, and it is one Sarah Mason. On the right, Jeff, you see Jeremiah Mason is the first name. So you're continuing on. The next one on the left that Nora sees is Keziah Mason. Keziah is like one of the largest and best established of the guy here. And on the right, is Ariadne Mason, who is listed as his wife.
So, the thing we're looking for was buried with Keziah?
So yes, the thing you were looking for was buried with Keziah.
I guess I will try and open the tomb. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, if you're just going to try and slide the thing right off the top, give me another strength check. This is a similarly heavy top to a sarcophagus as the one that you entered, if not heavier.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go for it.
Ooh, you push as hard as you can, and you feel it budge slightly, but it does not pull you. It slides a little bit.
Is
You're
there
gonna need more.
is there enough space for like all four of us to just push on that?
Yes, it is sideways up against the wall. All four of you could come together to try and.
All right. Little help.
Benjamin rolls up his sleeves.
Sure, there's a switch or button here somewhere.
Just like over there, like poking things.
What? Stop poking the walls and just help us push.
I help.
All right, everybody, strength checks. That is definitely enough. With all four of you pushing in concert, it slowly edges over and eventually slips off the side, falling down behind. With a tremendous crash, it falls to the ground, with each side splitting in two as it slams into the ground on the far side of the. Looking in, you see the desiccated body of Keziah Mason interred there, arms crossed. The skin, clearly has been embalmed quite well. The skin is leathery, clinging still to the skeleton after all these years. There is a few remnants of what was once richly adorned clothing upon him. Various rings upon each finger. Around his neck, you see a gold chain, upon which you would surmise that this is the Starstone of Minar. It is glistening brightly with almost an internal white light, inlaid in gold with four-pointed flower petals on each direction, pointing outwards from it.
Alright, Nora's gonna try and grab the necklace, I guess. Let's get out of here.
You place your hands on the necklace, and as you pull it upwards, it is slightly stuck because of the chain going around the neck.
Do you think it matters if we break the chain?
I would be worried about disturbing the body. Maybe just lift it up around his head.
Wouldn't that disturb the body more?
Well, I mean, if you yank it, it's liable to just snap the neck.
It's a gold chain. It's pretty old. It shouldn't be that hard to snap it without just yanking at it.
Well, I mean, if you think you can just pull it apart, then
You
Go
could
ahead.
shoot it.
there is always that.
Oh, he's already dead. Yeah, I was gonna try and pull out like my hunting knife and try and like snap one of the links in the chain.
Before you do that, can you not just slide the necklace so the clasp comes up to where you are?
That would
Maybe.
be
I mean, depends how stuck it is. Sure, try that.
Sliding it around, there is in fact a clasp.
All right, now it's got dead person skin caught in all the links, but sure, let's go for it.
So you unclasp it.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for? Unclasp it.
You unclasp it and slip the chain from around its neck. There is a sudden rumbling, and the hand reaches up, dead, and grabs upon your wrist. And we're going to stop there for the week.